I'm here today to talk about behavior support. No matter how much we learn, we could always use a new tip or be reminded of a good tip that we forgot. And because there's always a kid who will challenge us and make us better, then I want to talk about one of the most powerful tools that's in our behavior toolkit, and that's intermittent reinforcement. And to do that, I'm going to talk about snack food and gambling. Think of continuous reinforcement as reinforcing or rewarding every single instance of a behavior, like a vending machine. You put in $1, you push B4, and you know that you're getting that bag of pretzels every single time. It's reliable, it's predictable, and vending machines are fantastic for teaching a brand new skill. So if a student doesn't respond in class, you're going to try that reward. You're going to try to reward that response every single time until the behavior occurs more routinely. But what happens when the vending machine eats your dollar and gives you nothing? You push the button maybe 2 more times, kick it once, and then you walk away. This guy really wants a bag of chips. You give up. That behavior is not resilient. Now look at the slot machine. This is intermittent reinforcement, specifically a variable ratio, because the rewards are given after an unpredictable number of responses. You put a coin in, nothing. You put another coin in, nothing. You put a third coin in, ding, 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 a small payout. You're so excited. Why do people sit at slot machines for hours? Because of the maybe. As behavior analyst Greg Hanley says, intermittent reinforcement keeps hope alive. You might be rewarded after the next response. The unpredictability spikes dopamine in the brain way more effectively than a guaranteed reward. If you don't win on a slot machine, the player doesn't just kick it once and leave. They keep pulling that lever for a long time, hoping that next pull is going to be the big one. Intermittent reinforcement creates behavior that is incredibly resistant to extinction. It's behavioral titanium. So how do we move from being a predictable vending machine to a strategic slot machine in the school setting? Once a skill's learned, we have to reinforce it in a much more natural, less predictable way. And here are a few practical ways to use intermittent reinforcement in the classroom. The pop-in praise. You have a student, let's call him Leo, who struggles with independent work. Instead of checking on him every 5 minutes on the dot, which he will time perfectly, you will use a variable interval. You can check in after 3 minutes, then maybe 12 minutes, and then maybe 7 minutes. Leo never knows when you're coming in to deliver that specific praise, so he wants to maintain that on-task behavior just in case this is the moment that you appear. Here's another option, the lottery ticket. This is great for something like homework completion or hallway transitions, so many things it could be good for. Instead of a guaranteed reward for every good transition, you can hand them a raffle ticket. And at the end of the week, you draw one raffle ticket for a prize. Maybe they win after 3 good transitions. Maybe it takes 20. The anticipation drives the behavior. And here's a third idea, the mystery motivator. This is a brilliant option. The class is working toward a goal, but they don't know the criteria for the reward. At the end of the time period, the teacher pulls out a number, and if they've reached that criteria, they get the reward. And the reward could be a surprise too. So the excitement creates that slot machine buzz. You might wonder, doesn't everyone do better when they know the specific goal that they're reaching for? Not necessarily. Have you seen a student or a class quit trying when they've realized they'll never be able to reach the goal? Having that unknown criteria avoids that discouragement that students can have partway through a class if they know they'll never reach the reward. Of course, you might need to rig it once in a while to make sure that they experience success, but it's important that they don't win every time so that it remains unpredictable. Now, a quick word of warning is that the universe is already using intermittent reinforcement on our students, usually for the behaviors that we dislike. Think about the student who's routinely disruptive in class. The teacher ignores them 10 times, and then on the 11th time, the teacher is so frustrated and snaps, "Johnny, what is it?" Boom, if the student's motivated by teacher attention, then that teacher just acted like a slot machine for disruptive behavior. They just reinforced it on a variable schedule, guaranteeing that Johnny will keep up that disruptive behavior. So our job is to take that power of the slot machine and use it deliberately for adaptive behaviors. Don't just be a vending machine. It's difficult anyway to reinforce a behavior every time, and it's not as effective. So instead, be a strategic and ethical and effective slot machine. Keep them guessing, and you'll keep them growing. Thanks for watching. And now you could check for your understanding. See if you might want to watch the video again if you don't feel completely confident in the topic. Here's one to try. Choose the descriptors that match intermittent reinforcement. Select all that apply. A, is it provided after each instance of a behavior? B, is it unpredictable? You never know when you'll get a reward. C, does it mimic the natural environment? D, is it better for establishing new behaviors? E, does it strengthen behavior? Behavior becomes more resilient. F, does it keep hope alive? G, is it more like a vending machine? H, is it more like a slot machine? I'll give you the answers, but think about that for a moment. Which ones would you pick? And then let's try it for continuous reinforcement. Again, A, is it provided after each instance of behavior? B, is it unpredictable? You'll never know when you get a reward. C, does it mimic the natural environment? D, is it better for establishing new behaviors? E, does it strengthen behavior? Behavior becomes more resilient. F, does it keep hope alive? G, is it more like a vending machine? Or H, is it more like a slot machine? Here's the answers for intermittent reinforcement. You should have selected B, C, E, F, and H. And for continuous reinforcement, you should have selected A, D, and G. How about this? How is a mystery motivator implemented as described in this video? A, define a behavior, decide on criteria, share it with the group, and provide a surprise reward if the students meet the criteria. Or B, define a behavior, decide on criteria, share it with the group, and have students choose a reward from the menu if they reach criteria. Or C, define the behavior, change the criteria and keep it hidden from the group, provide a surprise reward if students meet criteria. Or D, define a behavior, change criteria and share it with the group, and provide a surprise reward if students meet the criteria. Give you a minute to think about that. And you should have selected C. With mystery motivators, we define the behavior, we change the criteria and keep it hidden from the group, and we provide a surprise reward if students meet the criteria. What is the benefit of keeping the reward criteria hidden from the group? A, there's less peer pressure that might impact children negatively. B, students are motivated to keep trying since they don't know what the criteria is. C, students will focus more on the behavior than the reward. Or D, none of the above. And the answer for this one is B. Students are motivated to keep trying since they don't know what the criteria is. So thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.